Hello and welcome to this Men's Health Squad conversation. Today we are joined by the founder of global fashion brand Represent, as well as a huge contributor to the UK fitness scene and of course newly minted cover model George Heaton. We discuss how feeling like an outsider in the gym led George to create the fitness-based offshoot of Represent 247 and how this in turn led to a series of sellout fitness events, as well as the creation of an app that's designed to bring a host of fitness information and inspiration to Rep customers for free. We talked about George's own journey through fitness, including how he put himself on the world stage by teaming up with Hyrox world champion Hunter McIntyre to tackle the grueling event as a duo. How Represent have brought fitness into the workplace by building a huge functional gym and bringing on board 2 full-time coaches who are available to members of the Represent team, and what George sees as the future of the UK fitness scene. You'll be pleased to hear that George is as cool in real life as he comes across on his socials, and I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. Let's get to it. George, just shot the cover. How you feeling?
Thankful. Really appreciate my opportunity to get to do this.
Is this something you've thought about before?
Yeah, I mean, I've picked the magazine up, obviously, for ever since I knew what lifting weights was. So to see myself on that cover spot that I would look at them guys and think, whoa, I'll never look like that. To have that opportunity is unbelievable. And to put myself in that place where I can get that is kind of unbelievable. I need to think about it properly.
Yeah, process it.
Yeah.
Is this thing of like not being able to see yourself in this place of fitness? I feel like this is a little bit of a through line for you.
Right.
How has fitness been for you, or how have you been in fitness in your life? What's your sort of fitness background?
Really, I didn't have one up until mid-20s. Like 26 is when I got into fitness properly. Before then, I'd go and lift weights in the gym like everyone would that had no clue what they were doing, and just go and do some arms on a Monday and legs on a Wednesday, and then maybe some back over the weekend. Didn't understand my macros, nutrition, anything like that. So I never looked good. I gained some size under a lot of fat when I was in my early 20s, which then I guess created me a good base that I didn't realize I had. And then 2018, 2019, I really got into running. And I started a thing called 75 Hard, which is like a discipline program that has 2 workouts a day in it. So I was getting my cardio in and I was lifting weights and I was noticing my body change. And obviously when you see a little bit of a change for the better, you kind of get addicted to it. And I started really delving into what fitness was and types of fitness that I could get involved with, because I was lifting weights and I was running and I was looking for the next thing where maybe I could combine them both together. And I found CrossFit and I found a local gym, found a cool community where I could go down and compete with people. And for me, that was like another outlet where I could like access my energy and all the like fuel and fire that you'd build up building the business and like the stress that it had. That was where I could take it out rather than taking it out in here. I could go and release that energy in the gym and kind of compete with other people, and found a love for doing that whilst I was also transforming my physique.
So it became like a healthy outlet.
Yeah. A healthy outlet for, I guess, built up stress and anger and everything like that. And it just made me feel so good doing it.
Yeah.
And seeing those changes and seeing that progression kind of got me like obsessed with it.
Obviously you run a pretty big business and you're in a very creative industry. And I think we discussed this previously, but historically, like those 2 things, big business and creatives,
right,
is not necessarily something that you would historically have associated with fitness. And for me, when I think about creatives, and particularly in the fashion or the arts, I think you have this idea of people who maybe their outlets aren't quite as healthy.
Right, yeah. And definitely. And that's something that kind of held me back from it for a while, because I thought I had to be one way, but actually I could be another way. Like, obviously everyone in fashion is nocturnal and they're up at night and they're drinking and they're trying to find different outlets of how to be creative. And look, not many people in fashion are extremely diligent with the fitness, but I thought, like, why not? Like what I read about running and the runner's high and how you feel after a workout is a creative like expression. So why can't I go and do that and try and figure out if that's the way it works for me? Because I was always a morning person, and I was never like a heavy drinker or would take a lot of drugs. That was never me. So to find that area where I could express what I'm feeling like doing in fashion was actually found through running and hiking and on them long runs when you're actually thinking about things, and that's where your ideas come about.
Yeah.
So it really worked in my favor.
Yeah. Yeah. You're finding that sort of stillness,
Right.
where the creativity can come from.
And really that's what started 247 for me. I
Yeah.
was out on a long run when I was thinking about what I could create that would help me be able to maintain the look of what I wanted to do, but in fitness as well.
Talk to me about 247. Obviously, you've given me this sort of potted history there, but like, where did the idea come from and how did it evolve?
So I was out on a run and I wanted to create a pant that I could. This was during COVID. It was 2020, and obviously everyone was working from home. And I wanted a pant that I could wake up, put on, go and do my running, still sit at the desk in, and then go and do my little CrossFit class at night in, and still be able to maintain a look that would transcend through all those different type of activities. And look great in the office and be able to partner up with a shirt or be able to partner up with a tank, and whatever shoe that was, you could open or loosen the hem of the pant with an elastic adjuster. And I just drew this thing up and I was like, what is it and what can it be and what can we call it? Like, we'd never sold a lot of pants before in the brand, so it was like a new alleyway for me. And I put a little video together of me going for a run and going to the office and training this pant, and thought, if it's for everything, let's call it 247. And the video went viral, and we only had 900 pairs for the original order. They sold out within like 5 seconds. So I was like, okay, this is actually working. Then everyone in the business was wearing the pant. Boys, girls, my mum, my dad, my sister. Like, no one could believe the pant, like how versatile it was. We ordered like triple what we originally ordered, sold out instantly. I was like, okay, we're onto something here. And now this pant is still our best-selling pant in the brand, and we don't promote it whatsoever. We did a couple of videos with it, and that was it, and it still sells every single day. And you see it when you walk around everywhere. Like, it's very, even though it's so like minimal and
It's like subtle, right?
yeah, subtle, you still see it everywhere. It's
Yeah.
got the little detail on, it's that pant.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. Did you find that previous to like your own entries into like fitness fashion wear, was there an element of how fitness looks, like the clothing people wear, what's promoted, like the vibe of fitness that had put you off of fitness before?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why I didn't train so much, because I couldn't find the right clothes. Like, for me, I'm very specific about how I want things to fit. So whether it's the neckline or the length of the arm, or even the width of the arm and the width of the body and the length of the body, like, I'm very particular about things. So when I'd go and order a load of different pieces from Nike and try them on to go to the gym, I never felt like as good as I could do when I was wearing normal clothes.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work for me. And then after I'd done the pant, that was when I realized, because at that point was like, okay, what do we turn 247 into? Does it just remain a pant and we let it just flow, or can we do something what not a lot of fashion brands have done and come from the fashion background and add a little fitness line into there that will work, which carries the same DNA of what Represent is. So I can give that oversized look and the aesthetics of what Represent does and how the collar fits and how the arm fits and all them tiny little details like the metal tags. Can I put that over into an activewear line where it doesn't look like everything else in the market? Everything else is very, well, not say everything, but 90% of the market is all the same thing. It's the same blend of the t-shirts. They all have the same neck holder, all the same lengths. The shorts are all the same kind of thing. So I wanted to bring our aesthetic and our DNA into that realm. And whether that grabbed people who were already in fitness, or whether it was just giving the authority to our customer to join the fitness realm, that didn't matter to me, because I was doing it for myself, and whoever decided to come along with that came along with that, and that's what birthed what 247 is now.
If you're enjoying this content, you can watch or listen ad-free on the Men's Health app by joining the Men's Health Squad today. Once you're in the squad, you will have access to tons of exclusive content, including regular member Q&As, interviews, and access to our world-class training platform featuring plans for every level and for any goal. Simply head over to hearstmagazines.co.uk/mh-mag or hit the link below. Have you spoken to people who have said to you, being able to see someone who dresses like me, looks like me, and I know people are going to listen to this, and it sounds like a bit of a first world problem, right? Oh,
Right.
I don't like what I wear to the gym, but for so many people, that's genuinely a barrier to entry, right? They're
100%.
like, those people don't look like me, therefore I'm not going to go and do that thing. Have you spoken to people who have said that thanks to Represent, thanks to 247, that got me in the door?
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like, a lot of our customers were the guy that was drinking at night and partying and not into their fitness, that have now changed their lives through the brand. And for me, that's what invigorates me now. It's not about trying to sell the clothes. It's about how can we bring our customer into the lifestyle of myself, my brother, all the guys in here, the guys who use the gym in 247, like what it does to change your life and how it makes you more productive and makes your family life better and everything like that. Just waking up earlier in the morning, stuff like that. Like if we can get across that message through the brand and through the lifestyle and through the clothes, then we can bring so many people up with us.
Yeah. One thing I always say to people is going to the gym, getting fit, etc. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it's going to put you in a much better place to solve your own problems.
Exactly. And whether people like it or not, it's going to give you confidence.
Yeah.
And confidence then transcends into every other aspect of your life.
Yeah. I think I once heard Georges St. Pierre, the UFC fighter, say, look good, feel good, fight good.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah.
No one can deny that's the truth.
Yeah. And a lot of things you're saying there about what you want to do with 247 and what you represent, those are things, like, to me, having not met you, I'd think that's a great thing to say.
Right.
But having met you, having spent some time with you, you really do live it and you mean it. And this is something I talk about a lot. This is the mission for you, right? With 247 is to talk to us about, you've been running, you found CrossFit. Where did fitness then take you? Because you're not, this isn't like, you're not someone who's just done his first month in the gym and is feeling good about it. Like you are in it, right?
Yeah. I found it as a place where I could compete, like I said earlier, and a place where I could really push myself and find them dark places. And to me, it was like, if I can get the hard thing done, then everything else is pretty easy. So I took it into marathons, I took it into ultra marathons, I started competing at local CrossFit competitions and then Hyrox. And I think Hyrox was like the one thing that I found that like really is a bit of everything that I like doing. It's competing, it's running, it's weights, it's got everything in it. And it's not too long that it's not going to take over your whole life. And that's something else I like to portray, is that this doesn't need to be 5 hours a day of training. Like you can get this thing done in 60 minutes, 5 times a week, and it can change your whole life. And I think Hyrox, with the way they've done that, is fantastic for people to train to get ready for. It gives them like the authority to enjoy themselves and compete with others. And for me, that was like my favorite spot in fitness, I guess.
You're obviously someone who understands business. You're obviously, you've spoken about productivity, and you seem like a fairly analytical person to me, and a very driven type A. Does Hyrox talk to you because it's something that is very repeatable? You can see your numbers. It's not so much something like CrossFit where you get better at CrossFit, but you can have a bad event.
Right.
You can have a bad, it's constantly varied, right? Whereas Hyrox is the opposite.
Yeah.
Does it appeal to you for them reasons?
I think it does, yeah. I think like in business, like you said, it's about beating your numbers. And when you
trackable metrics.
Yeah. And when you're at a high level of that, which I hope I am with Hyrox, it's like you're shaving seconds of your time. So to get better at it, it requires a lot of work. And when you've done your hardest day's work at Hyrox, that next time it's going to be even harder.
Yeah.
That's what scares me, and that's what worries me, and that's why I like doing it and throwing myself into it.
Yeah. You just mentioned that you hope you're at a high level in Hyrox. You've recently competed at a Hyrox doubles event with Hunter McIntyre, who is obviously the greatest Hyrox athlete
Yeah.
to ever do it. How was that for you? Oh, actually, how did that come about?
It was the worst day of my life.
So
that
far.
came about because actually when I found out about Hyrox, I watched a video on him and I was looking at this guy and I was thinking like, he's chopping down trees, he's living in this canyon in the middle of Malibu and he's running these races all over the world and coming first place and he's got such a great attitude towards it. And just like the juxtaposition of what he is as a human made me attracted to him. So that's why I wanted to bring him into 247. So I was like, if I can get these cool athletes that are all doing amazing things all over the world and they're all different to each other and it's not just CrossFit, like I didn't want to, I didn't want 247. Yeah, I didn't want 247 to be pigeonholed into CrossFit. And then I made sure with the guys that are involved with the brand, like every day, this is not what 247 is. It's about all inclusivity. And if it's about a guy going in bodybuilding or a guy running or a guy doing Hyrox, like we can give them the clothes to do that, or we can give them the workouts to go and help them do that. And they can feel all inclusive through us to be able to do that, and not pigeonhole ourselves. So I found Hunter through that. And we've had a relationship for a couple of years and I like to think that I train hard. So he invited me up to his a few times and trained with him. And then he asked me if I wanted to run the race with him. And I'd already done 2 Hyrox before that, where I was around 60 minutes and 57 minutes. So I know I could kind of hold on.
Yeah. You've got the sub hour.
Yeah. But the 6 weeks leading up to it were daunting really. And I went up to his a few times to train with him and it was tough trying to like hold on. But we ran London together. Yeah, it was hard, but it was great. Like I'll never forget that moment all through my life.
How fast did you go out in your first kilometer?
240.
I love that. That's not a pace you would historically or sensibly go out at for an hour long.
No, not at all. And Hunter was actually telling me to slow down on that first K, which.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You're keen.
After that, he was telling me to speed up.
Yeah.
So I know I went out too hot, but it is what it is.
So you've recently shifted your training slightly to a more bodybuilding style approach, which is interesting to me because actually most people you talk to, the story, the narrative is normally completely the other way around.
Right.
You have these people that have trained with weights all their life and then they find functional fitness. How have you found like taking the more like bodybuilding side of things, or the hypertrophy training more seriously?
I like to switch it up every now and then, like whether it's 6 weeks or 12 weeks or however long it is. I like to do different things. I get bored after say 6 weeks, and luckily I had this to prepare for, which was around 6 weeks, and I just finished that Hyrox and I just ran a marathon, and I wanted to give my body a break from the intensity in the running, and I actually wanted to put on a little bit more size and see if I could trim down a little bit more. So I've spent the last 6 weeks just doing hypertrophy and like low intense cardio, but I'm so ready to get out of that now and go back to a bit more CrossFit, and probably end up doing more Hyrox, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like just switching it around. I don't have specific goals where every single year I want to get better at Hyrox. It's like, what else can I do? Well, the fitness industry is so open and there's so many different things, and there's marathons and all these other types of challenges that I'd like to get involved with.
Yeah, and you can't lose, right? Because whatever you do, you're getting better.
Exactly. One way or
you're
another.
putting years on your life, and you're tapping into that source we were talking about earlier, where you are allowing your thoughts to settle and that creativity is coming through. People can't see, but we are sat in Represent HQ, but we're sat in your gym. Do you know what the square footage of this is? This must be like,
the gym is about 5,000 square foot.
So it's big.
It's a big gym. Yeah.
My brother DM'd me earlier and he was like, that's too big for a work gym. So you put this space, you put this gym in your HQ, and it's where everyone is, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you have?
We're just under 100 now.
You're 100 people in here. How has having this gym impacted the culture here?
It is absolutely crazy. Not only is it bringing in new people that are already obsessed with the gym and they're already light years ahead with the mindset and the way they are because of their training, but it's changed the lives of so many people in here. And you can see the difference between someone who has decided to not come and join the gym and not train and not get the classes and the nutrition that we provide with everyone, and the guys that do and the girls that do. Like, their whole mindset has changed, the way they work has changed, and it's unbelievable to see that happen to people in the business, because that's what happened to me, and that's why I put this gym in here. For me, like when I started training and I built a little home gym for myself, like that's when I noticed that everything becomes clearer, and like my business just changed through that. So if I can also change the lives of the people that are in there working at Represent at 247, then this is not actually a huge cost. Like most businesses could do this, and it literally changes the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of it as having a communal workout space now in 2024 is going to be what smoking was like historically,
Yeah,
right? It's going to be like
100%.
going out to have a fag and
Right.
those chats that go on there, or going out for a drink after work.
Yeah.
And I think it talks to exactly what we were saying. The people that historically would have been smoking and drinking and partying and being nocturnal, to your point, are now actually in the gym.
Right.
You run classes here, right?
Run classes, yeah. And it's crazy to see like there's different departments in here, because there's so many people now that like most people wouldn't gel together. So if you're in like a customer support role and there's someone in design, you're on a different floor and you're not really communicating much throughout the business. You're only communicating at parties or at lunch. But if they're in the class together at 6 a.m., they're sweating together. Their endorphins are high together. Like they're then having good times with each other, way better times than what they would if they just went out for a drink.
Yeah.
And that to me is like where I find like such greatness happened, and I'm obsessed with that, because when I joined the first CrossFit gym that I went to, like they all became my best friends. Then people in there that are all sending it and giving it their all, like, and you're doing it with them. That creates like a brotherhood.
Yeah. It's that shared suffering.
Exactly. So if I can bring that into the business, why not?
If you're enjoying this content, you can watch or listen ad-free on the Men's Health app by joining the Men's Health Squad today. Once you're in the squad, you will have access to tons of exclusive content, including regular member Q&As, interviews, and access to our world-class training platform featuring plans for every level and for any goal. Simply head over to hearstmagazines.co.uk/mh-mag or hit the link below. What I don't think people realize is that in this, well, you know, people do realize when you point it out to them, but in the same way that like going out for a few drinks kind of breaks down those barriers and everyone sort of gels and there's a bit more sort of unity. The same thing happens in the gym, right? But it's it's clearly a more healthy pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they compete as well. Like if they're actually like going head to head, like we have classes where it's partner workouts and you're competing against each other. It's so much better.
Yeah. Tell me about the 247 app.
Well, I was putting my workouts on my story that we were doing functional workouts, and people are asking what they are and how they do them and how they get involved with it. So then I started putting a mailer out, and I just thought if everyone wants to sign up to a mailer, they can get them workouts every week. I'll put them up because I'm writing them down for myself anyway, so I might as well give them out to everyone. And there was like 10,000 people that signed up to the mailer.
Wow.
So I was like, right, how can we do this better? How can we keep it simple, but just make it easier for people to just access it whenever they want through the week? So I got in touch with a little app development company that were local, and they said they'd put together a little workout app for us, put it on the App Store. We got like 20,000 signups. I don't know how many people use it because it's all free. I don't need to track it. I don't want to make money from it. It's what I'm doing anyway. So for me, all I have to do is write down my workouts and put it into the app. And I think it just gives that authority to our customer again, where if they don't feel like they're inclusive into CrossFit or into functional training or Hyrox work, like this is their entry for through Represent. Like we're doing it, why not? You can do it.
Yeah.
And then recently it's getting updated where it also has all the Represent classes on it. And Jake, who's my head coach, who's also a Hyrox masterclass trainer, all his workouts will be on there. So we're just giving out, I guess, just free workouts. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is all of this stuff is out there. This is something we talk about a lot in fitness. There's a difference between accessibility and visibility. Like all of this stuff is available. Like I know where to look, but I've been doing this since I was 17 years old. Whereas something like that popping up for a Represent customer who like you say may have no inroad into fitness whatsoever, it creates that visibility, right? Yeah. And I think that's such an important thing And like we said already, that's the mission, right? To
It is,
create
yeah.
to create visibility for the people who otherwise wouldn't know
They wouldn't
where
know.
to look.
And I see it every day. There's people that'll come onto my Instagram or onto the brand's Instagram or onto Jake's Instagram or Hunter's Instagram, and they'll look at it and they'll think that's so far removed from what they know and what they can do. But then they can go on a link and they can see that they can do it and they can scale it down and they can do whatever and they can get involved. And like, I see it change people's lives. There's so many guys that when I wake up and check my DM in the morning, they're like, dude, I've lost 4 kilos. I've done 75 hard. I've just started doing Hyrox training, or I've just completed Hyrox in 60 minutes. I can't believe it. It's all down to the brand. It's like, that's the shit that like gives me energy now. Like, I wake up and read them DMs and I'm like, this is it. This is like changing people's lives every single day. So why not? Like, it doesn't cost me anything. I'm only doing what I should be doing anyway.
Yeah. Has it changed or affected at all how you look at the trajectory of the brand of Represent?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know whether the growth rate of the brand will continue as what it is anyway, because 247 is only a small part of it. It's like 10% of the brand now. But to me, it's like I said then, it gives me energy and it gives me more of a purpose than just creating clothes. Like, I know I can create clothes and we can create great clothes and we can do the best we can with that. But if there's another angle that we can come in at where it's not about the sale of a product, it's actually about the changing of a human.
Yeah.
That to me is like, that's what it is.
It's a calling, right?
Yeah.
It's to be of service.
Yeah,
to the world.
to be of service, because I've done it for myself and I've realized how much it's changed my life. So I can only see that in other people.
Yeah. You work in fashion, so clearly you're forward thinking. Where do you see the fitness industry going over the next few years?
Oof, that's tough. I'm only new into it. So for me, it's like I'm bringing fashion into the fitness industry.
But what excites you? Because I think you've got an eye for it.
Yeah.
I think you have an eye for what's going to be good.
What excites me, I think Hyrox is still the most exciting thing. Wherever that goes, whether it goes into the Olympics or whether they change it up every year, or just seeing the growth and speaking to the guys that own that was like eye-opening for me. And like seeing that normal humans can buy a ticket to race against everyone and have that little like 15 minutes of fame thing. I think that's what changes the industry and that's what changes fitness now. Whereas it's not just like turning on the Olympics every 4 years and watching people race. Like, you can go and do that yourself now. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of different games and events that are low barrier to entry that will come into the game and like give everyone a reason to come and join in on this like pursuit.
Yeah, it's like the difference between things that are aspirational and inspirational. Right? Inspirational things are like, wow, this guy did this great thing.
Yeah.
It's encouraged me to do something in my own life. Whereas that aspirational is like, I could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
And Hyrox is a great example, because even the CrossFit Games, the Open, you might know that you're 70,000 places away from whoever's on top. But Hyrox, you can look and be like, well, I'm 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And you can shave those minutes off, right?
Of course. And I guess that's only going to get harder the more people get involved with it and the higher level it gets. But I think other things will come out like that. And look, there's so much data now and so much stuff out there. You've got so many podcasts and like you've got Whoop and all these trackers and everything like that, that you can really like completely change your life with a couple things in fitness. So I don't know where it'll go, but I do believe that it will be the new socializing for the rest of the world. It's got to be.
What's next for you in fitness?
Probably going to do the LA Marathon in March. So that's around 9 weeks away from now. So I need to start running again. I've not been running at all. So I'd like to do that. I've never ran an official marathon, just a load of ones with my friends or charity, or when 247 athletes are on a bit of a pursuit, I'll like to join in. So I'll do that next, I think, in March. And then, I don't know, we'll see where it goes from there.
And what about 247?
247's got some exciting things this year. We're starting off with Wadapalooza next week. We just did a little run in London where 700, 800 people turned up. And we have a lot of footwear launching towards the end of the year, which I'm really excited for. Spent the last couple of years working on that. And we could have done it through collaborations. We got asked by everyone to do a shoe. And it's like, do we just take this opportunity and run with someone else's shoe and their technology and all their success from it? Or do we try and do our own and like keep this for the next 10 years, 20 years, however it'll be? And decided to go down our own route and design it all ourselves and make it all fit to how we want to train in it and how we want to run in it. So that'll be in the next 6 to 8 months, I'm guessing.
exciting stuff.
Yeah, which I can't wait for.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at the cover and thinking, this guy's, gotten cover model shape in, it's not a short period of time, but your training has changed.
Yeah.
Should we get some George Heaton cover model training on the Men's Health app?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Should we get what you've been doing on
definitely.
there for people to follow along?
Yeah. But again, like, and people that are new that come into my ecosystem for Instagram and stuff, like, I've not only been training for 6 months or a year. So I always like to try and get the message across that, like, this has been many years for me. I don't
consistently
just look,
as well.
yeah,
right?
I don't just look like this for within 6 months. Like, it's taken me so long. Like, I was always overweight and never could control my diet, never could control the consistency with my training. So, like, it's really, I want to get the message across that, like, you've got to dial it in and you've got to be consistent for a long period of time to actually see great results.
Yeah, and have the patience.
And a lot of patience. Yeah, definitely.
To wear it out, right? Because I think so many people rush full on into it, expecting results yesterday, and it can be disheartening when
it really can. Yeah, I've done
along.
that many times in my past 5-6 years as well.
Yeah, it takes time. You got to lay the foundations, and then
exactly.
Yeah, dude, this has been absolutely great.
Yeah,
great day. Well done for the cover, mate.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can sit down and do it again.
Definitely. Can't wait to eat something great later. No, thanks for today. It's been great.